Welcome, Hudson Valley. This is Conor Walsh, host of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. This week on In Touch, we speak with Donna Thomas of JAMES'S Warriors. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we talk about how Donna uses her platform to spread mental health awareness to schools and to the community. Donna recounts her story losing her son, James, and how she is using her story to save lives. We invite you to join us and listen to a previously recorded conversation between Donna and myself here on In Touch. Because of the awesome success of In Touch over the last year, we are expanding. We are launching a new spin-off series under the In Touch umbrella called Townsquare Spotlights. These spotlights branch out of the typical Hudson Valley programming and focus on amazing celebrities and leaders across the country who are making an impact in pop culture. You can check out our latest spotlights with Billboard-charting musician AJ Croce, Hollywood icon Clint Howard, and Golden Globe-nominated actress Mel Harris, wherever you enjoy In Touch. We here at In Touch are all about, being in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley. What better way to stay in touch with what's going on than by downloading the Townsquare Media mobile app for this radio station? Not only can you listen to this station live at any time using the app, but you can also listen to In Touch on demand. Besides In Touch, you can read daily articles about news, events, entertainment, and more that's going on in your community. And when the weather gets bad, you can use the app to check on weather reports and see which roads, schools, and organizations are closed. Your Townsquare Media app is the best place for concert tickets and events as well. We're constantly giving away tickets to the hottest shows in the area. Again, you'll have access to all of this if you just download the Townsquare Media mobile app for this radio station. In Touch is nothing without the support of the hundreds of listeners that we get on a weekly basis. Thank you so much for listening and taking part in the conversation. If you listen to In Touch through a podcast service such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please consider leaving a positive review. With more 5-star reviews on these platforms, the algorithms will work hard to promote our show and bring In Touch to new people. That and also sharing In Touch with your friends and family is so important. Just sharing our links and listening live each Sunday goes such a long way. Thank you for all you do to stay in touch with what's going on in the Hudson Valley.
Hello, Hudson Valley. You're listening to another episode of In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We got a great episode for you guys today, one that I'm really excited to get into. With us, we got Donna Thomas returning to In Touch, founder of JAMES'S Warriors, and I'm so happy to catch up with Donna today. Donna, how are you?
Good morning, Conor. I'm so happy to be here on this Easter week. For me, vacation time. So I get to do these podcasts with some of my favorite people, especially you.
Hey, I'm happy to have you here. It was so great having you last year. I've been so lucky to be connected with you since then. I'm really excited to hear everything that's going on this year. So can we talk about, first of all, for those who may not know about JAMES'S Warriors, or if they didn't check out last episode or whatever, give just a brief overview of what JAMES'S Warriors is all about.
So JAMES'S Warriors is built on love for my son, James Thomas, who died by suicide in October of 2018. He was just 19 years old. And quickly after James died, I realized that we needed to start these conversations about mental health. Like, my son was one of those people, we had no idea. I mean, there are signs and symptoms, but we didn't realize that, right? I think you think when people are suicidal or have that ideation or depressed or, anxiety, you think of it's going to be these big things, right? But sometimes it's just a shift, and there's slow shifts, and then all of a sudden there's this breakdown. And so what JAMES'S Warriors does is we go into schools, community-based programs, colleges, and we talk to the kids using correct terminology. We're straight shooters. Like, I'm not standing out there with a PowerPoint. I am telling James's story. I'm telling how it affected me. And I'm telling them how they do have some control and input into their mental health positively, right? And that's what we're trying to teach. Like, hey, it's okay to talk about it. You can still have a beautiful life, even if you suffer with mental illness. And just because mental illness itself, people are like, oh, that sounds so heavy. But it's an organ. Your brain is an organ just like anything else. And sometimes we need to reprogram it.
Absolutely. You're right. It's a matter of just treating things like we would treat just about anything else and giving it the same respect and giving it the same care. But for whatever reason, since mental health is something that we can't physically see, I guess. That's why it's been one of the harder things to treat, or at least to recognize, until recent years. Even recent years, that we're still working on it, but it's probably better than it has been thanks to, leaders such as yourself. And this is fantastic, the work that you get to do. So you guys go around and talk to a number of schools, as you said, and, May's coming up, Mental Health Awareness Month. So you guys are going to be very busy. You said that you talk about James's story when you go to these schools, and we've talked off the mic how you guys aren't data-driven. You're people-driven. You're really experience-driven. And I'm sure there are probably so many incredible stories and incredible like impacts that you've had from traveling around. What does that look like when you do go to these schools, when you're, not off right now for Easter week?
Yeah. So here's the thing, like when you're presenting, right, you're in the crowd, you look, right, these faces, right, and you wonder who is there that you need to touch, right? And like Dawn Cavazzini, my vice president, we always say, like, at the end, like, you meet all these people and these kids who just want to tell you their story and connect with you. But just recently, we were speaking at Boston Spa, and when we talk about one person, and I'm just going to read you this note that I received on our Instagram account, and it just says, "This might not reach you. I hope it does, and I want to take a moment to thank you. You spoke at Boston Spa High School where my daughter sat in the crowd. She complains about kids being rude. Because some of the kids, you get kids who may be talking, and she was upset. But as she spoke about your journey, she had tears in her eyes, and she said she felt your pain. She felt your words. She never had a kid so she doesn't understand what, your magnitude of pain is. But she said she can only imagine how bad it hurt." And then the mom writes, "I want to thank you for your bravery, your strong shoulders to turn such a tragedy into something so good. If you help one person, it was worth the fight, right? I can say without a shadow of a doubt, coming from a broken, depressed teenager that constantly feels her world is crashing, you have officially saved one person. But I promise from the deep depths of my mama's soul, you have saved far more, an angel that walks among us." And she goes on. I know I get teary-eyed because, it comes back to, I wish I knew for my son. Like, you always think, God, if he saw a presentation, would that kick in? And so obviously I will never have that, but getting messages like this, my data is one, right? That's all we want, is to save one person. And so when we get those messages, and we get a couple from every school we go to, that's what makes us even more driven to help others. And it's hard. I mean, as a suicide prevention program, not big sponsors want to sponsor suicide prevention.
Yeah.
Right? It's not one of those things that people want to attach their names unless you're these big corporations. And so, for us, like our fundraisers and all that money goes to the kids. Like, we make coping kits, just to run our, the website, just the insurance. It's like, you want to help people, but unfortunately there's bills to pay to even do that. And we don't even take salaries. Like, we don't do anything like that, which is also a downfall for us, because then we don't qualify for a lot of grants because we don't take salaries. So we're in a catch-22. So like all of our things that we do in the community, and when people will say to me, "Donna, why do you only do your stuff in the summer?" Well, during the school season, we're doing speaking engagements, and I also work full-time as a nurse in a program for behavioral kids. And so, and I have a family still, and so we do all our fundraisers when it gets a little slower for us. And so it looks like back to back, but that's what sustains us. And I know that when we're going into school, we're getting that one. We absolutely are saving somebody. And this is why I do it, hoping, that we make a difference in this world and we lower the amounts of deaths by suicide.
No, I feel you 100%. And also, that's just one that you get a response from. And getting the response back, that is so important, and it helps you guys out. But that's just one you're getting a response from. That doesn't mean that it's only one. That means other people are being touched by it, and you may not see it and know it physically, but it's it's one of those things where, you plant the tree not for yourself, but you do it for the future generations to eventually enjoy the shade. I know I butchered that quote, but it's along those lines.
I do think, like, again, and I tell the kids when we speak to them, like, you guys are the future generation. So if you learn how to speak to each other, like, and I talk about, like, what you can do to change the neuroplasticity in your brain, right? We're not going to get so technical, but like, they can pass that on to the next generation. That's what we want, right? We want people to realize that there is change. And so, like, with us, we outreach as much as we can, but we wish we had the connections to get into more schools, get into more colleges, because we know our program is effective because it's based off of love.
And the love is at the core of it all. And it's like, here you are, you're a mother and sharing your love for your son. And that love isn't going anywhere. And you're passing it along to all these people. And, to get personal here for a moment, when we had our episode last year, I had just lost a friend. Yeah. When we had our episode last year, I had just lost a friend and I was in a really low place. So when you came on, and it was amazing. It was back to back. It was you and then Be a Friend Project. We did the interviews back to back days. And you guys hit me like a freight train of love and mental health. And it was like, all right, I hear you. I'm going to therapy. And I went to therapy right after that to help with that grief. And I'm still going to therapy, and like, it's amazing the things that we've broken down and the things that we've talked about. And we have conversations, I don't know where the heck they came from, but I'm like, oh, wow. So that's that. And just putting all the pieces together, or finally understanding how certain things have clicked this whole time. And it's really amazing. And I'm a 26-year-old man who, spent most of his life kind of like his nose up at therapy. So, and now I'm over here saying, it's like, hey, have you tried this out? Have you thought about this? Have you tried this out? This is awesome. And, my girlfriend too, she goes to therapy. She's been doing it longer than I have. And it's actually something that we're able to connect and bond over. We're able to have those discussions. And if anything, it's made our relationship even stronger. So I just got to say thank you on a personal note for helping me get there as well. So that's really awesome.
When you sent us the message and you kind of gave me the idea of what was going on, I was so taken back. And I said to like Dawn, I was like, this touched my heart so much. Like, because first of all, like, your sincerity and like, I don't know, that connection, even though we're doing this, via the, meeting online or whatever, but like, you introduced us to that other fabulous group, which I talk to those ladies every once in a while, a little chit chat here and there, you know what I'm saying?
I love
it.
So
it was another resource for us because we're in the same, field about working with kids. And, it just, that whole connection was so good. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people don't realize like their connections can help people like myself. If you are a principal in a school or somebody, it's like, help us out because we're going to help your community, right? That's what we're here to do. We want to like help people and let them connect. And just like you telling your story now, like, just because you are going through something and you had to go to therapy and you're still going to therapy and you're getting so much out, doesn't mean like everything's bad. It could be everything's good right now, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's
it gets you there, and then you evaluate the good, which is awesome. Yeah.
So, and even like having those conversations, like you said, with your girlfriend, making the connection, like some of the schools we go to, they will have a parent conference for us. So we'll meet with the parents. We'll do an open speaking engagement for the parents so that when we are at the school the next day, they can like have that dialogue. Hey, I saw Mrs. Thomas as well. What did you think? Do you know anybody? It's those lines of communication, because I always say to them, like, don't blame your parents for not knowing. Like, I thought, I tried as a parent just like everybody else. I asked my kids, hey, what are you doing? How is school? But I didn't really listen. Like, I would be yelling, get the dog out. We have to go to lacrosse. We have to do this, And even when James is struggling, I'm buying stuff off of Amazon, like, a salted lamp. I'm going to change the positive ions. Like, I'm doing all of these things as a mom, thinking I'm doing the right thing, but not even knowing this is mental illness, not even knowing the signs and symptoms. And so that's the whole thing. It's like, you're talking, I'm talking, it changes. And it may be shifting a little bit, but it does change.
The little shifts do make such a big difference. It really is crazy how that works. And just to be able to open up those dialogues and have that networking skill is such a big thing. And I want to talk about that networking and talking about the ways that you get in through the community outside of schools. As you said, during the summer months, you guys do a lot of your fundraisers. You have a lot of things coming up. And we have a few things that want to bring up. The first one, you guys are sold out already, and it's July, and that's awesome. So you guys have this No One Walks Alone walk in Saratoga, July 4th. Then you got a music festival coming up on July 27th in Wappingers. And then you got a golf tournament in August at Casperkill, which, you guys are bringing that back after a really good success last year. Let's talk about those events for a second here and just highlight those. And again, kudos to the sold out one in July already. That's awesome.
So actually, too, these events help pay for certain events, right? So like in June, we do our Mother's Retreat in Saratoga. So we have moms whose children died by suicide. They come to, we rent a house on Saratoga Lake. We have a spiritual advisor come. We do yoga. We do tea ceremonies. We prompt and teach about letting go some of the grief and, so much that comes with that. And so with these events, like, we're paying for, because we don't charge moms, right? They don't need the burden of having to pay, but we want them to have some healing. So July 14th at Saratoga Racetrack in Saratoga, we had a fundraiser and we sold out within just a short period of time. We have about 110 people attending, and it's so much fun. We have, best hat contests and all little raffles and things like that. And it's just really a great way to experience the track, but also helping James'S Warriors raise money to pay for things like the Mother's Retreat. And then we have in July 27th, which we just announced, and hopefully I'm not tearing this name up, but at Schlatt House Park in Wappingers, which is like Myers Corners and I think All Angels. It's that one, there's the monument in the front there. Yes. We're having a music fest from I believe the gates open at 12 till 9 o'clock at night. There'll be food trucks, 6 local bands. We're waiting for contracts to come back, and then the bands will be announced, and raffles. And it's going to be a great family event. And the town of Wappingers, especially, the supervisor, Joey Cavassini, they are sponsoring the event, which is amazing because he really is about getting the word out about mental health and supporting James'S Warriors. And he knows how important this is for us. And we are so grateful for him. And then our golf outing, which will be August 12th in Casper Hill Golf Club. And we're looking forward to that as well. We had a pretty good turnout. It was our first year last year, and it was a pretty good. So this will be our second annual. And so we hope those tickets will go on sale in about 3 weeks or 2 weeks. I have to look on our website. And all tickets and all information are on our website at james'swarriors.org. And we look forward to people coming out to this event, and sponsoring us is, means the world to us, because we can do more for the people in our community.
Yeah, it's so true. You got such a great lineup of events. I'm really excited for each and every one of them. And I think that's great that you're able to get out in the community. And there's such different events too. So services all different kinds of people and all different kinds of interests. And I think that's great. I love the variety that you offer there as well. Again, you're listening to In Touch, Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley's award-winning public affairs and issues program. We've been speaking with Donna Thomas, founder of JAMES'S Warriors, talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, talking about breaking down the stigmas when it comes to mental health, going into schools, talking with parents, and then all these awesome events that we have going on. You know, in our last few minutes, I really want to focus in on the personal aspect and how people can be touched on this. You mentioned before how Wappinger Town supervisor and friend to this show, Joey Cavassini, we literally just had him on, has this connection with James, and I didn't realize this. They grew up together. Yeah. And you were sharing this wonderful story ahead of time, and I think just talking about that friendship, as much as you're willing to share and how much you think Joey's willing to put out there, I just think it's beautiful. And I really just want to kind of end it on that note, if you wouldn't mind.
No, of course. So again, I don't want to get too spiritual, but when you lose a child, there's a lot of, things that you look at, right? You have to grab the goodness. And I feel like that God has put a lot of people in our lives, my life, to keep James relevant, right? To keep JAMES'S Warriors relevant. And Joey Cavassini is one of those people. Our boys, I say our boys, James and Joey were friends since they're 4 years old. Dawn and I, when we were in the summers and we work, either I would watch the kids or she would watch the kids. So we spent, and our daughters, Danielle and Shannon, were also very close friends, and they, did dance and sports together and all that. And as the boys did karate and all that together for such a long time. And Joey always, even when he was running, he was like, whatever, if I get into this position, like when he was a councilman, I'm going to help you. When he worked up with Mark Molinaro, he's like, I'm going to help you. And that's the beauty of people like Joey Cavassini, who they are moving up and they are trying to help us. And he does it not just for JAMES'S Warriors, he does it for other organizations. And I've had other people, Sue Serino has also always been a good supporter of us. Mark Molinaro, when he was, county exec, like these are the people who really help us to move along. And like, there's so many people that we're blessed with that are just wanting to help us, and we appreciate, like, we have such gratitude for those people. But like, Joey, like when we go to his, like, ceremonies and stuff, like there's that part you're like,
go Joey. Wow. Yeah. Gosh, it's crazy to think the connections here and how you guys were able to grow up together, and you're seeing him prosper and seeing this legacy and seeing all the new people come in since then. It's a worthwhile thing. I think everybody has been touched by it one way or another, whether they readily talk about it or admit it, and it's meant something, and they see you and they're like, I can get behind this. So this is so awesome. I'm really happy to see all the growth that you guys have had. For those listening right now who want to learn more about JAMES'S Warriors, they want to help with JAMES'S Warriors, they want to get involved with any of these events, what is the best way for them to find you?
So the best way is probably james'swarriors.org. That's our website. In the next couple of weeks, you'll see forms for sponsorships, volunteering, all of those things. Within the high school, like I have Dave Sites at Ketchum, that's where James went to school. He always has kids because kids need hours, for community service. So we do get a lot of students from there to help us with the event. And so you can always, if you're a Ketchum student, you can go to Dave Sites or his office and they'll tell you how to volunteer with us as well. They send us a list of kids. And we are on social media for the older folk, JAMES'S Warriors on Facebook. We are at JAMES'S Warriors, one word, on Instagram. And we do answer those, responses that we receive. But there's also a contact form on our website. So if even you have a question, you want to see if we can do an event, you can reach out right there.
That's awesome. So many great ways to get in touch. That's amazing. And hey, for those listening, like wondering if you want to reach out to them, They do see it, just like that note that they got from the mom in Boston Spa. It's seen, it's heard. You will be seen, you will be heard. And God, I feel so good this morning talking with you, Donna. So, Donna, thank you so much for being here on In Touch again.
I always feel great when
I know.
see you.
This is good.
I just get happy. You have the best smile.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be on a high the rest of the day. I hope you will be too. But no, this is great. And I'm so excited for you guys. And again, all the links and information will be in the description of this episode. So you guys will be able to be in touch with everything going on with JAMES'S Warriors, all the upcoming events, and you can get involved. Donna, thank you so much for being here on In Touch today. Greatly appreciate you.
Thank you. And thank you for helping us all the time. We appreciated all the beautiful things like your song. And I mean, you really touched my heart, and I appreciate you. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
This has been this week's edition of In Touch, the award-winning public affairs and issues program that runs across Townsquare Media, the Hudson Valley radio stations. We want to give a big thank you to Donna Thomas. For more on JAMES'S Warriors, visit james'swarriors.org. Of course, all links and information can be found in the description of this episode. Whether you've been listening for a while or you just joined us, thank you. You can find In Touch episodes new and old on your favorite streaming services like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. That and listen on demand with your Townsquare radio station mobile app. Of course, you can still find all articles and audio under the In Touch tab on this radio station's app and website. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at InTouch_HV. If you like what we do here on In Touch and want to be on the show, let us know. Whether you have a topic you want to discuss, or you want to be a guest, you can fill out the In Touch submission form, which can be found in the description of this episode. I've been your host, Conor Walsh. Until next time, stay curious, keep an open mind, and as always, I'm glad we get to spend some time.